Greetings everyone, hello and welcome to Laysara Summit Kingdom, a new city builder that is actually pretty interesting because you're building your city on one mountain. And yeah, instead of going wide, you need to go tall. You need to go up into the air, into the mountain, building on several plateaus, connecting your city with several population tiers, different economic trees and stuff like that, while also fighting the weather, the climate, avalanches and stuff like that. I think it's really interesting. Also, the game is gorgeous and detailed, so this is also something to catch the eye. The game is actually coming out today on April 10th on Steam, so if you're interested in that, check out the link in the video description. And no, this is not a sponsored video. I just play this game because I think it's actually good and I want to show it to you. So without further ado, let's actually have a quick look here at the settings that you can do right now. So in the new game, there will be a campaign then in the full release. So we're having the early access release right now. In the early access, we have 3 game modes. The free build, where you don't need to worry about economy. You can just build and enjoy the scenery. We have challenges. These are short scenarios with well, smaller puzzle-like mechanics. And then we have the standard mode where you can choose various mountains and fight conditions to win objectives. And yeah, we're going ahead with the standard one. And we can see that we do have quite a few mountains available already. And in this case here, we're starting with the first one, the Hope Spark Hill. A balanced hill that we have. I just love, by the way, the premise that we have different hills and mountains that we play on, right? Demon's Rest and Splintered Soul, for example, are also part of this game, and they're also going to offer then different challenges. Here we have a more balanced approach. We have resource copper available right now. We can import several resources like perfume, gold, dyes, and we can also export butter lamps if we specialize into these. That's it. There's no rivers on this one, and we are going to see 1 or 2 avalanches, I hope at least. Without further ado, let's jump into this. By the way, if you enjoy my content, please consider supporting me on Patreon. The link is in the video description as well. Go, 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 go.
Of all the years in the long and storied history of the Kingdom of Laysara, this one surely has to be the worst. Following the harvest, a mysterious mist suddenly appeared all across the kingdom. Then, the pandemonium started. Crops started to fail. Disoriented animals barely produced any milk. People started to get sick.
And you can't see anything. The fog in this valley is even worse than the city. For all we know, we could be lost already.
Faith, my friend, have faith. We're following the path that's been chosen for us.
Path? I don't see any path. Just the same damn forest going on for days.
It's not entirely the same. Look, there are more and more pines, and the thickets are thinning out. We are getting higher. We'll get to the uplands shortly.
Even if that's true, what will we find there? Mark my words, mountains are no place for humans.
Yes, but they are a place of the spirits. We will settle at the foot of the mountain and make our way up to build a grand altar at the very summit. The spirits surely will recognize our efforts and help us to drive the mist away.
And Laysara will be saved.
Yeah, that's great and all, but did you see how low on supplies we are? Never mind building a temple, we'll die of hunger before even reaching the top.
Come on, it won't be that bad. Look on the bright side. Mountains are above the mist, so we'll be able to cultivate crops and pasture our yaks again.
Maybe. Until the first avalanche sweeps us all away.
Stop worrying about minor details. We're on the most sacred quest, and nothing will stop us. Onwards!
This is some serious mountain we've got here. It's not a home just yet, but surely we have all that we need to establish a settlement. I don't know, there's not much land suitable for efficient farming. Come on, it's not like barley would grow a little higher. Have some faith. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it doesn't look like the worst place possible. There's also some copper here. You know what? You're right, with a positive attitude we could definitely make it work. And this is also my first plateau. So as we can see, this is the mountain. We have several plateaus here right away. I mean, come on, the game is gorgeous, right? Beautiful it is. This is one of several mountains that we can play here with the early access version already. And in this case here, we also got nice rivers. We got snowy spots. This is actually where avalanches will come down. So we need to make sure that we prepare for this. We got copper deposits. We got the higher mountain top area over here. And yeah, all of these plateaus also, we can see it on the color already, have different climate zones, right? This is temperate. This is, yeah, more or less medium area. And this is a very cold barren area. So also certain things only grow in certain areas. Well, we need to start where we have the entrance to this mountain, which would happen to be over here, because this is where the stairs are coming down up from the fog that we just had in our introduction. So let's start by placing the first basic one. Now, space is going to be super important here, right? So we cannot really go for that much beauty building as far as I'm concerned, but of course we still can try this at some point. The first one is, so provide 30 citizens with eggs. The first building we need to have is actually a food market. This will distribute then food evenly to the other citizens that we have, right? So a food market is the center more or less of my settlement, and we gotta make sure that we have it in an area where we can provide lots of citizens with that. So this is the one. Don't forget, it's for this plateau only, right? For this plateau we need to have our own food market again, so it's only for this one. And since it has a pretty big range, this will already provide for everything here. Oops. Next up, we need to have some basic production then up and running that we can also have then up here. First of all though, we need to provide, yeah, place for living. And with that, we start with the first tier, the lowlanders hut. Love animals, fresh air and food, especially food. Let's start by building the first block down here. And I would probably also start another block then here. And as we can see, these buildings then merge together if you have several of them, right? The only cost really to build these is money, and we have a total revenue of 300 right now. My expenses are going up now though, the more buildings I built, also with more production then obviously. So we also need to make sure that we always make a nice income. For food, let's just check out the buildings themselves. We have now the food demand up and running, and we need to provide these needs here if we want to upgrade that hut here to the next level. And as we can see, unsatisfied needs for food, commodities and enlightenment are, yeah, some temper and some eggs that we need right now. So let's start with the eggs, and for that we need a chicken farm. Let's just have a look and see that we can place it a bit further away. In this area here, probably. I would like to provide 2 chicken farms right away. There you go, with the second one. However, we still need to connect them with a trade route. And with that, my lowlanders now get eggs and it's satisfied. Gotta make sure that we have a surplus production, right? We're producing 8 eggs now. And we can also check this one here. And the consumption is at 4. So actually we have some room to play around with. And we can then play a few, place a few more lowlanders. There you go. It's actually pretty important that we have enough workforce. 40 lowlanders it is right now. And this workforce is still shared across the mountain, right? So everywhere on the mountain is working then. We just need to make sure that we have a district for each one of these workforces available here. Next up on the list, have level 2 huts. With that, we need to provide a few more needs. And the next one would be temper need and also some enlightenment. Now for the enlightenment, we have 2 options, the academy and the praying place. The academy would need monks to work, so we don't have monks yet. Let's go with the praying place, and this one provides some enlightenment for people. It's a cheap one, and we can place 2 of them. Their range is rather low, so I would like to have one here. And we might have another one on the other side. We'll actually lack a lot. Let's actually have one down here, and also one here. Also nice. It's getting nighttime right now. Next up on the list, we do have the food. We have the second food production we need to have, and that's the barley fields and then the mill. Let's just check it out. The barley fields themselves don't need a connection with the food market, but with the mill then as well. And I just hope that we can actually squeeze in several fields here. Perfect. And then we can have a mill. Let's have this one closer to the food market. Connect them with the mill. 2 fields actually provide for 1, I think. Nope, actually 4 fields. Right, so we still have room for another 2 fields that the mill can process. And we can send this one to the food market. That is it then, distributing it to my lowlanders. And with that, we have fulfilled now eggs, samper, and the praying place. Just at this moment, there's an avalanche over here. Yeah, we better have no buildings in this range. They will not survive this. So we need to provide one more need, and this is actually any need, right? Any category that we can have it for. And we have only 2 options here, the utensils and the cheese. Now utensils actually do need copper to work with. We don't have copper yet, so I'm going for the cheese. It does require more space, however. For this we need a yak shack, a cozy place for yaks where they can focus on growing lustrous fur and meditation. And amongst everything else, milk. And then we have the cheesemaker that produces that. Yeah, let's go ahead with the cheesemaker here. And then also the yak shack. And I just hope that this is producing enough. So we're producing a 9 milk out of this. And the cheesemaker actually only needs 6. Alright, it's producing 6 cheese with that. Let's deliver that over. And with that we have fulfilled demand actually for way more, right? So we can build a few more of them if we want to. For now though, let's upgrade. Actually, I would like to upgrade all of them to get the maximum workforce out of it. A lot of copper can be found around here. We should take advantage of that. Copper is such a fine mineral. When you touch it, it feels cold. This means it drains temperature from your body very quickly. I wonder if in the future it may be used for sending warmth or maybe even other kinds of energy. What on earth are you talking about? Well, no need to get ahead of ourselves here. All in good time. And with that, we need to provide 80 citizens with utensils. Now for this, well, we do need to have copper available somewhere. It's not here anywhere, as far as I can see. There's the copper. This is crystal, actually. There's copper, right? So it's pretty far away, actually. How do we get over there? Well, let's continue. First of all, we'll need to build a bridge to the other side. And then to the other plateau. Beautiful. On the second plateau, I would like to start right away with my second tier population, the artisans, right? Because they actually also pay more taxes that we're going to need, and they also consume then utensils for the next upgrade. So let's go ahead and make this one here a district for them. For this, once again, we need a food market to grow. It's actually a lot of space that we require with these. Let's actually squeeze it in here. I think we should be able then to have it all the way down to the end. There you go, perfect. And then all the way up here. And then we can place the artisan houses. They look way more beautiful. Just like with the lowlanders, the artisans also require eggs. So once again, I can just have my chicken farm somewhere. And the chicken farm is really something that requires a little space. Let's just squeeze in some to here. Provide these artisans with some eggs now as a basic need fulfilled. And with that, we also get a bit more workforce in. That workforce, well, we're going to need now for the copper production. For that, we need a shaft. And this one actually connects now plateaus in elevation. So vertically. There you go. To have it to the other level, and from here we can then go all the way to the other side, where we once again need to build a bridge to get to the copper. And here we can now finally start with the copper production, and that's in the prosperity tree. For the utensils, copper mine, there it is. However, the copper mine needs yaks to work. And there we have it, the yak pasture. Now we can already see that it is actually affected by the mountain zone, right? So in the barren lands up here, it only produces 2 per field. In the middle of the ground, it's 4. And down here, it's 5. So it should be in our interest to actually have 5 or use the area with the 5. However, this is an area that's already pretty tight with my workforce, so I think the middle ground here is fine. This area is problematic again because, well, guess what? We have the avalanche here. So in order to protect us against the avalanche, let's build some foresters right over here. And as you can see, the protection zone for this is growing. This one is then consuming a bit of workforce, right, for foresters, lowlanders. We have a lot of them. It's producing then wood. We don't need wood right now. We need the protection, right? And in here, we can now go ahead and make us those yak fields, yak pastures it is. Let's start with 2 of them. There you go. And they're actually merging together into one. I think that's pretty nifty. And with that, we have the yaks that are then already being provided in the copper mine, which is now working at 100%. However, well, it's not delivering it to anywhere yet. And for this, we need something else, and that's the carrier post. If you can carry it, it's not that far. Can send resources to multiple target buildings within range. And one of this should be then also my next building, which is the utensil, well, workshop. Before we do that, I would also like to introduce the 3rd tier of population, which is the monks. So over here in this Greenland, we can do this. Well, we don't have to. We could also have the monks here by the copper mine, honestly. Wouldn't be a problem as far as I'm concerned. We could use this area then for proper farming, right? Might be something. We already have the road access, so let's actually squeeze them in here, those monks. For this, well, we do need some space. It's not very farmable anyway, right? It's cold already. A bit of snow is coming down, and we need this workforce actually to start the research, which is also a pretty long process. And for this, we do need the monks then available as well. So let's just go ahead and start with them. Monks dormitory, they also will need then the food, also baths then. We'll just see. And let's just also make sure that this one is once again in range of everything else. Something else that we should build right now is donation posts. This is actually really interesting. So in order to make money, we need to have donation posts, and we should have them wherever we have people living, right? And they gather basically, yeah, donations from the surrounding citizens. And with that, we have a positive balance. And with the money coming in, we can now afford an academy. And this academy now needs to have at least 48 monks in order to function. And these monks, well, they do have various needs again. One of them would be, for example, the scholarship. Unfortunately, axe is not one of their needs anymore, so tamper it is. Let's provide that. Well, let's just make sure that that mill is in range of the food market then as well. That is not enough yet, so we need to have more farms. And with this, we have now the cart post available, and this is something that actually transports then resources over longer distances. So where we need to have it, and that would be then my artisans down here. Those guys would like to have the utensils as a, well, as a need, basically. This is really something we need to provide. So let's just make sure. Let's actually have the coppersmith though here, right, up in the mountains, and we can then distribute it to the other areas. Let's have it behind my food market. There is a bit of an access here for smaller industry. The problem is, this mine here is now producing 4 copper, right? Whereas a coppersmith only needs 1, but we cannot distribute 2 buildings with 1 export building. So we need to have a middleman here, and that would be then a carrier post. And this one here we can place somewhere. And this one here distributes those goods then to the coppersmith. And those coppersmiths, well, provide it to this market here, if those guys need it. Yes, the monks actually do need it. So let's provide. Oh, yes, we do need a commodity supplier. That's actually a new building as well. Not getting any easier here. It's this one. Let's just make sure that there is actually something in range. I think we're going to need to have the carrier post a bit further down here. I mean, it's super easy to transport, right? There you go. And with this, we can then reach the commodity supplier down here. I want to reach all of these guys here living in this area. Alright, unfortunately, I do actually need a carrier post for each specific resource right now. I hope we can upgrade this soon, so that one of them can use 2 of them. But for now, we actually need several of these carrier posts then if I want to make it work like that. So now the coppersmiths produce it, then bring it to the carrier post, which one brings it then to the commodity supplier, right? And only this then provides it for my monks. Fortunately, we can have 2 outputs though, out of 1 carrier post, so I can have another output now to the cart post, and the cart post is bringing then the utensils down here to one of the other suppliers. Unfortunately, we still need also a commodity supplier down here. This one, we could have it in the center, we are rather having it then here, up in the north, right? And then I can transport this one down. And with that, we have now provided utensils to all the artisans. And just as it happens, it's almost equal. Very nice. I know we don't have much further land here, but I just wonder, you think about using barley for something other than flour? Yes, we could brew a little something, you know, to help keep spirits high. We definitely can. Cold, foamy liquid gold, perfect after a hard day of labor. Or just to make everything feel easy for a moment, to forget the important stuff for a second. No idea what you folks are talking about. Well, of course, we're talking about ale that we need to provide now. I know we don't have much further land here. Oh, that was about the same thing again. And provide 100 citizens with access to ales from inns. Once again, it's nighttime. It's a beautiful game, really. And look at how far we've come already. Alright, so let's just check this one out. For the ale, we actually need to have quite a few things activated. So let's just see. There it is, the inn. We need to provide 100 citizens with that. Requires artisan workforce. We don't have a lot of artisans, so it might be worth it to upgrade those artisans first. For that, we need to provide cheese, baths, or ale, or mandala, or a praying place. I like the idea with the praying place because I think that is rather easy. There you go. We'll have one here, and one here. It's super dirt cheap anyway. We could also build just a few more. And then also cheese and yeah, ale is actually one of those needs. And there's also the first avalanche. And as we can see, my foresters actually stopped it. Let's have a look at that ale production. It's actually pretty extensive already. So in this case here we need foresters that produce the wood that delivers it then to a charcoal pile where we can produce coal out of that. 6 lowlanders are required for this. So this is a spot for it, of course, alright. But the problem, of course, will be then the avalanches as well. As we can see, it's actually affecting it. Can I build one more of these foresters here? Perfect. Because with that we have total protection then, right? And just below that I can have then one of these charcoal burners here. And we can then deliver that. Alright. 3 of them can actually provide just 1. So we have resources left for another one then, if I'm running out of it. This is producing the coal now. Next step on this list here is then the brewery already. That needs barley, however, and the coal. I might keep the brewery here as well. It is requiring artisans for that. 14 of them, which is a lot. Let's build the first one. With that, we actually lack some artisan workforce, so let's build this a few more again, which will probably disrupt my supply and demand problem here. No, it's equal at the moment. It's super close. Let's just make sure that this stays super close. Very good, we have the workforce again. So this is now providing it. The coal is being delivered. Barley is the other thing now. Now barley, we need a lot of that. And that means I need to have effective fields. We already have these barley fields here that are providing the mill. And it's not a very fertile land. So I will have to eye this green plateau. And for this we need another shaft down here. There you go. And here we might just have fields of green or of barley, you might call it. And let's just go ahead and have, yeah, and try to squeeze us in a few more like this. Or I would like to reserve some space for future just in case, right? So this is actually another stair coming down here. Right, so we have the barley on that side. This will not work out. I need to actually put these roads differently, right? Because I want to have 2 rows of barley fields right next to each other. There you go. And with that, we should be able to use 2 full rows like this. Right? And this all consumes, of course, workforce. There you go. Looks much cleaner again. Alright, we need to get that barley over somehow. So we're producing 6, 12, 18, 24. So we have a bit of room to play around here with. Actually, I don't think we need this one. So let's just destroy this again. Right? Doesn't really cost me anything to place a field. And with that, what we still need now is once again a cart post. This is then delivering that barley away from it, right? So let's just have the barley going over there. Right, and then this one, holy cow, is going for that brewery. And then you can see how this is all working together, and it gets more and more complex, right? The brewery is now getting the ale, and now we need an inn as a final straw of this whole thing. And let's place this in right here in the center to provide it for all these artisans. Oh, this is of course not working. We need another cart post once more. There you go. And all these artisans have it now, and we can upgrade. And we should do this as quickly as possible because I have a very negative balance because of the missing workforce penalty that we have there right now. And as you can see, this is getting improved now as we upgrade the artisans. To have a positive balance once more. This ale tastes great, but damn, my head is killing me. I don't feel so good either, and I don't really remember what happened just before we left the inn. I did what? The youth of today. Next up, we need to provide those artisans here with a bath. Oh, this might be interesting, because that probably requires a lot of space. And a bath requires a river nearby. So it is actually here that we need to place them, just beside the rivers. This is a problem, since the artisan district is not... Now, funnily enough, the map has, of course, or the mountain has different plateaus, so we can just find a new plateau that has a river close by. Up here would be a beautiful choice. Let's just make sure that we can actually build bath here. There you go, right? It's a beautiful mountain bath. And yeah, we still need to build that new artisan district all the way over there, which is not a big deal, because you need the workforce anyway, and they pay me taxes too, so I don't really mind. And what we need to do is we're getting this over here. Remember this plateau here for another production, most likely. And then I'm going to need a bridge to the other side. We could make it very close to that beautiful waterfall here, right? And then we go all the way to that. That's actually a pretty big plateau that we have there. This could be interesting for a nice, beautiful, big artisan city now, right? Because now we have the means actually of producing something on another plateau and then transporting everything over. We don't need to have everything here, thanks to the cart posts, to the carrier posts. We can have the whole food production over there, for example, for the artisans. And I think I'm going to do this, right? So let's just start. We need the food market again, as always, in the center. It's actually such a big plateau that might actually need 2 food districts. Nah, let's build this one here. Right, that should be fine. And then I'm actually, how much does the bath work? 8 artisans it costs me right away. Yeah, let's build it. Somewhere up here, it should do the trick. There you go. Beautiful. It really is, right? Over here. It's cold, frozen, it's windy, but there you have those beautiful warm baths available to you. And then we can have over here our card post. So this is the takes in the resources. We're going to need several of them, right? The first one is for the eggs, of course, and the second one probably for the cheese. So let's start with the egg production. That delivers it then, and this one delivers it then to the food market, and this one in return has then the artisans that are being provided with it. There it is. Oh, another avalanche up here. Oh, it's actually creeping down. Look at that. Whoa, that was super close. That actually almost destroyed my egg farm already for my artisans. Did not expect such a force. And here we can have then our artisan district. That has then the access to the bath, right? There we have full districts in here. Oh, yeah, these two unfortunately do not have access to the food market. No big deal, as we can use this then for a shrine, for example, for this block. And then we have also another shrine up here. Or just by the bath, that's also a nice location for it. There you go. Objective fulfilled. Yeah, the eggs are actually missing a bit, so I do need to build a few more chicken eggs. Chicken farms. There you go. Surplus is on 3 again. And with that, I love it. We can specialize those plateaus. And yeah, if you enjoyed this one, give it a like, and we continue onwards in the next episode. Stay tuned.